Hello everyone, welcome back to Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo and we are bringing you Truth Without Compromise for the Family. This is our series on Catholic masculinity. In this segment, we'll be talking about commitment, and within this discussion on commitment, we'll talk about purpose and results. Now, commitment is the follow-through on action toward completing tasks required of our state in life and honoring our word. True manhood is marked by the ability to keep commitments. Of course, the most significant of these would be our lifetime commitments. For a married man would be his marriage, the commitment to his wife. For one who is a priest or religious, the commitment to their religious vows. Now, I'm 47 years old. I was born in 1968, and those of our age are considered to be part of what's called Generation X. And Generation X has been identified as a generation that has lacked commitment. And in general, about all men, you'll hear that men today don't honor their commitments. But let me tell you about the world in which I grew up in, the way society was. For the first time than ever before, mothers were leaving their children behind in order to go into the workforce, going from the commitment to their children. Husbands and wives were divorcing each other like never before in history, not honoring the commitment to their marriages. Priests and religious nuns, brothers, were leaving their religious vocations like never before, not honoring their commitment to their vows. And in the workforce, you had employers who pretty much did away with the idea of lifetime tenure and started laying off workers and not honoring the commitments of their pension programs and other benefit programs to their employees. That's the world I grew up in. And that's the world that I had to adjust to and to learn how to survive in. So we have to realize that there's going to be commitments, but then we have to have a priority of commitments. Because if something is not going to be committed to us, then how can we return that same level of commitment? Take a couple of examples. First, let's consider one where a man has to have a greater commitment to his wife and his family than his commitment to his work. Now, his commitment to his work is very important. This is what feeds his family. This is what they rely on and provides for them. But still, the family commitment should be above it. The job should be at the service of the family. That's what it's there for, not vice versa. When my wife and I were dating, we were dating in college, and things got serious between us pretty quickly. And we realized that we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. We wanted to get married. And so we ended up getting engaged, and as things went along, we decided we were going to move our wedding date up, and we were going to get married even before we graduated. And so the summer before that last semester, we got married. And then lo and behold, the following month, we realized that we had a baby on the way, and we were overjoyed. We were ecstatic. What a wonderful blessing this was going to be for us. So again, we're a few months from graduation, and I start putting out feelers for jobs in my new career. And of course, that's a very exciting time. Ended up coming back with 3 job offers, and I had to make a decision. Which one would I go with? Well, I didn't decide to go with the one that was the most exciting or the greatest financial, the highest paying, or even the greatest opportunity for advancement, or the one that would provide the most exciting travel. What I had to consider was that I had a new wife with a baby on the way, and my wife had never had a child before. She had never experienced a pregnancy or a labor or a delivery. She had never experienced postpartum issues or raising an infant. So for us, it was going to be important for her to be close to people that could assist her, our extended family. So in making the decision of where I was going to work, it was going to be closer to home, closer to family that was going to be around us that could assist us in these brand new things that we were going to be doing. And that turned out to be a great decision. I was able to go to my job and focus on that job and know that my wife wasn't going to be in an unfamiliar area, or that she wasn't going to be alone, or that, that she was going to have the support around her necessary for the things we were about to embark upon. And so that's an example of placing the family before the job. Another consideration, a man should place his commitment to God before his commitment to his wife. Now that might sound kind of strange. How could there be a conflict between, a man's wife and God? In a marriage, in a Catholic marriage, it is a triune relationship, husband, wife, and God. All because Christ raised marriage to the level of a sacrament. So God is part of our marriages. And typically we know that nobody is going to interfere with each other's desire to maybe go to Mass or pray or anything like that. Where would the conflict be? Well, the conflict is going to be on the moral side. Quite often, and almost a vast majority of Catholic couples use contraception. And so when a man allows contraception to come into his marriage, he's placing his wife before God. He's placing the pleasures of with his wife before his commitment to God. He can't fall into that. If that ever comes up into the relationship, he needs to not allow it, and he needs to lead her out of that temptation if it's her driving, and he definitely doesn't need to be the one initiating that. Quite often it happens, unfortunately, during the courting period or during the dating period. And of course that's a mortal sin in of itself if any kind of sexual activity is going on there. But if that's the case, that is when the wife ends up taking control of that marriage, because she's able to control him through his sexuality. So he needs to make that commitment to God higher than his commitment to her. Finally, let's look at our purpose in making these commitments. If we look back at the Catechism of the Catholic Church, or more precisely, if we go to the Baltimore Catechism, we see that our purpose is to know, love, and serve God in this life, and to be with Him in heaven, and live happily with Him in heaven. For those of us who are married men, we give up our lives and our selfishness for our wives, for our families. Because in Ephesians 5 it says that we are to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave His life up for it. So we're no longer living for ourselves. That becomes our purpose in life. That becomes our offering to God. When we should be so deeply in love with our wives that we have a solid commitment to her and to welcome children into our relationship, into our family. Our purpose is to make the sacrifices necessary for the good of our families, to strive for excellence in everything that we do, but especially in our workplace, because that's how we, again, earn our redemption, by providing for that family. But then we need to keep that in balance. We need to work while we're at work, but then we can't turn into to workaholics. We have to, whenever the day is done and the job's over, get off the job, get home, so that we can nurture our relationships with our family, so that we can provide the discipline that our children need in order to be well formed and to spend time with our wives. And so our commitment isn't only to our job, but the bigger picture is the commitment to our marriage. Finally, let's talk about results. We need to look at why it is we do the things that we do day in and day out. What is that particular thing that I'm going to be doing? at any given time. There's going to be some unpleasant things we have to do. Sometimes we're going to have to do the thing we don't want to do. But that's going to be the thing that's going to lead to the results that we want. So we don't focus so much on, I want to do this particular thing. We focus on the end result. I want this particular outcome. And to get that particular outcome, to arrive at that destination, I know I need to go down this road. Now this road might not be very clear, or it might not be pleasant, but I'm going to go down this road because I want to get to that destination. That's results. That's living for results. And it completely changes the orientation and the decision over the things that we're going to do day in and day out. So we need to focus on where it is we want to get to instead of whether or not we like the particular thing we're doing right now. And that's going to, again, help us to honor the commitments that we have made. So there's our discussion on commitments. Come back next time. We'll be talking about focus on our series on Catholic masculinity here at Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamon. God bless you.